Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your research, your sources, and we try to turn them into that essential knowledge you need, fast. Today we're looking at something pretty fascinating. It's this link, apparently quite direct, between difficult emotions and, well, our actual physical posture.
Yeah, it's quite a connection. We've got a source here that focuses on emotional release. And it really digs into how the body seems to react automatically when we push feelings down.
An automatic physical mechanism.
Yeah.
Triggered by not feeling something.
Okay, that's the core idea. So our mission today is to unpack that. You know, the body's immediate, almost involuntary response when an emotion comes up that isn't acknowledged.
Right, when we don't process it.
Exactly. What happens when that internal pressure, that unfelt emotion, actually manifests as a kind of physical shield?
And the source points to a specific area.
It does. It focuses heavily on the solar plexus. You know, that spot sort of above the belly button, below the rib.
Yeah, the gut feeling zone.
Right. The source suggests this is a primary place where many people instinctively feel stress, fear, anxiety, and where they physically hold it.
Okay, let's get into that. Because for a lot of people, myself included, that solar plexus area is ground zero for gut reactions. That knot of anxiety or maybe dread, you feel it right there. But how does that feeling physically change our posture? That's the leap I want to understand.
Okay, so it seems to happen through this automatic instinctive response. Let's start with the trigger.
Okay.
Imagine a difficult emotion comes up. Could be anything, really. Maybe low-level anxiety about work, maybe something sharper, like actual fear.
Right.
Now, if we actively choose not to feel it, we suppress it, distract ourselves, tell ourselves it's silly.
Push it down.
Yeah. The body apparently interprets that suppression as a signal, like there's danger or vulnerability here.
So refusing to feel equals prepared defenses.
Basically, yes. And what does that defense look like physically? It's not just like tightening your abs.
Okay, so what is it?
The source details this immediate, almost subconscious thing. The body starts to physically, well, fold up is one description, or contract inward.
Folding up, like curling.
Exactly. It's like a self-protection move. Shielding that vulnerable emotional center, the solar plexus. An involuntary recoil. Think about basic human instinct, right? When we feel threatened, what do? We tend to curl forward, make ourselves smaller.
Yeah, that makes total sense evolutionarily. Protect the vital organs. But most of us aren't facing, actual physical threats day to day. It's emails, deadlines, maybe difficult conversations. How does this constant, maybe low-grade emotional suppression show up structurally?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. It shows up as that common posture problem we see everywhere.
Which is
the area around the solar plexus physically tightens, it holds, and critically, this internal contraction actually pulls the upper body forward.
Okay.
The most visible sign, and you can probably check this on yourself right now if you're sitting, is the shoulders.
My shoulder.
Yeah, that internal contraction pulls you inward, and that naturally brings the shoulders forward, rounds the upper back a bit. You end up looking, well, hunched.
Whoa, hang on. That's quite something. Because we usually treat that hunched posture, the shoulders rolling forward, as purely mechanical, right?
Usually, yeah.
Blame the chair, weak back muscles.
Yeah.
We try to fix it by, pulling our shoulders back consciously, which often just feels strained.
Creates more tension somewhere else.
But you're saying this source suggests that specific posture might often be a symptom of unfelt emotion stuck in the gut.
Precisely. The source is very clear on that distinction. Trying to force your shoulders back with muscle power, you're just fighting the symptom.
Well, the cause.
The internal emotional contraction is still active, still pulling you forward. It's like putting a brace on your arm but ignoring the reason the bone is weak in the first place. The physical fix won't stick if the underlying emotional defense is still running.
The body just snaps back to guarded mode.
It reverts. As long as the emotion is being held down, that defensive posture remains the default.
That completely reframes how we think about posture. So if I'm sitting here feeling that familiar tension in my stomach and I notice my shoulders are forward, my body isn't necessarily saying, go do some rows at the gym. It might be saying, hey, pay attention. What are you not feeling right now?
That's the implication, yes. But let me ask you this, because it's a fair point. Does the source acknowledge that not everyone feels everything in the solar plexus?
Good question. Some people feel anxiety clenching their jaw.
Yeah.
Or a lump in the throat. A headache even.
Exactly. Is this solar plexus folding thing the only mechanism?
So does the source address that?
It does acknowledge that emotions manifest differently. but its focus, its specific methodology, is on this particular response, the torso folding inward.
Why that one specifically?
Because it's seen as so directly linked to protecting that core area. While you might feel sadness in your throat, this specific shoulders forward, chest slightly concave posture, the source identifies that as the signature result of suppressing emotions felt deep in the body's center.
So it's like a specific diagnostic signal. Physical folding inwards means emotional holding at the core.
That seems to be the hypothesis presented, yeah. It offers a unique physical clue.
Okay. So if we accept that, if the fold is the signal, the solution must be counterintuitive. Because like we said, the instinct is to stiffen up, force ourselves straight.
Right.
So if we notice our body starting to do that folding, that contracting, what's the simple, maybe even revolutionary solution the Course suggests? How do we get to release? And this brings us to that central idea, the counterintuitive path to release. The recommended action is, well, it's stunningly simple.
Okay.
When you feel that physical contraction starting, the best thing to do is just feel the emotion.
Just feel it.
Yep. No complicated techniques, no special breathing, definitely no forcing the posture, just allowance. Allowance. Now, that sounds like surrender. But people worry about that, don't they? If I allow the fear, when I get swallowed by it. If I allow the sadness, when I just wallow.
That's a common fear, absolutely. And the source does differentiate between healthy allowance and, say, getting lost in the feeling or wallowing.
What's the difference?
It lies in this idea of being with it, just being present with the emotion.
Okay.
For however long it needs. The source emphasizes that allowance is about experiencing the raw, physical sensation of the emotion.
Not the story around it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wallowing is often about thinking about the emotion, replaying the story, judging yourself for feeling it, imagining worst-case scenarios. Allowance is simpler. It's like observing a physical event.
So if I feel anxiety as like a tightness in my chest, I don't get lost in the thought, oh no, what if X happens?
Yeah.
I just sit with the physical feeling of tightness until it changes or fades.
That's the practice. You acknowledge the feeling, you give it space, and you trust that it's like a wave. It has a natural course. It will pass when it's ready.
So you're not trying to control it. You're just experiencing it. Yes. The source is quite clear. If you give the emotion your full, non-judgmental attention, you kind of fulfill its purpose. Its job wasn't to stick around forever. It was delivering information. Information received aloud. Then the energy behind it can dissipate.
That's the idea. Okay, that makes sense. It shifts the whole thing from control to experience, which leads us perfectly into the result, centeredness and physical straightening.
Right.
The payoff.
So if we manage this, stop fighting the feeling, just let it run its course, what actually happens in the body.
Well, the big takeaway is that the release is gradual. It's not like flipping a switch.
Okay, slow release.
Slowly, yeah. In layers, maybe, and it's a dual release. Two things happen.
What are they?
First, the tension held specifically in that solar plexus area starts to let go. That internal knot unwinds. That's the emotional or maybe energetic release.
The core tension dissolves.
And second, because that deep internal need to defend is gone, the body achieves a physical release. The structure is no longer being pulled into that defensive crouch.
So the relaxation isn't forced from the outside like stretching. It's a structural result of the internal emotional process completing.
Exactly. It comes from the inside out.
And what does that look like, this post-release state?
The source calls it returning to your natural state, which it defines as a state of centeredness.
Centeredness, like alignment.
Sort of, but maybe deeper. Alignment driven from within. It implies a physical stability, proper balance, because there's no longer that internal emotional anchor pulling you off kilter.
Physical freedom because of emotional freedom.
That's the connection being made, yes.
And the shoulders, the visible sign.
They get permission to move back.
Yeah.
Tight, contracted posture just resolves.
Naturally.
Naturally. The final tangible physical result is the shoulders releasing back, the whole upper body able to straighten up fully, effortlessly almost.
Yeah. Wow. Does the source mention if this is like a one-time fix or something you practice?
It's presented more as a practice. The speaker in the source material apparently uses this method regularly. They say every time they feel their body starting that inward fold towards the solar plexus.
They pause and allow the feeling.
Yes. And they confirm that doing so consistently leads to that physical straightening. It's like the body gives immediate feedback that the internal work was successful.
It's incredibly efficient if you think about it. Proper posture isn't about muscling yourself into shape. It's about removing the internal blocks that prevent your natural relaxed alignment. We're not fighting gravity as much as we're fighting our own held emotions.
Yeah, and if you connect that to the bigger picture, it really suggests physical well-being and emotional honesty are inseparable.
Right. All the posture therapy, the stretching, the exercises, they might only be temporary if that underlying emotional contraction is still active.
Still pulling the strings, so to speak. True stability, true centeredness might require giving ourselves emotional permission first.
Okay, let's try to synthesize this deep dive for everyone listening. We've learned that avoiding a difficult emotion can trigger an automatic physical response.
A folding inward, centered around the solar plexus, pulling the shoulders forward. A defense mechanism.
And the key to releasing that tension, achieving centeredness and natural posture, isn't fighting the posture itself.
No, it's counterintuitive. It's about allowing the full experience of the emotion, non-judgmentally, until it naturally completes its cycle.
Letting it run its course releases the internal tension, which then allows the physical body to straighten.
Right. It gives us a clear potential action plan. Start using your posture almost like a diagnostic tool. Your body's communicating. Are you listening? Which leads perfectly to a final thought for you to consider this week. If you notice your shoulders are forward, or your posture feels contracted right now.
Could you pause and ask, what specific unfelt emotion might my body be holding on to? Instead of just stretching or forcing yourself straight, try observing that physical contraction. And maybe, just maybe, grant the emotional experience that tension seems to be asking for, even just for 5 minutes. No judgment, just presence.
And see what happens. Observe if allowing the emotion even a little leads maybe gradually towards your natural, more centered posture.
Pay attention to that deep connection, your inner state mirroring itself in your physical form. It's a powerful relationship to explore.